Hi everyone, today we are going to discuss about problem solving using Python. In that unit 5 formal versus default arguments. Here arguments is nothing but passing parameters to the functions is called arguments. We can pass one parameter or two parameter or three parameter. We can pass number of parameters to the functions here. Here we are having two types of parameters. One is formal and another one is default parameter. Default parameter, it takes which we are represented the function variables, that is to be a default variables. Formal is nothing but we can declare the formal variable as formality. And here we have to know about the benefits of Python by using default and formal arguments in building modular applications at Meta 2025. Here we are going to see about first introduction, then default versus formal arguments, then advantages in modular applications, Meta 2025 context, DT date and time example for by using this formal and default arguments, and best practices, then summary. And now first we are going to see about the formal versus default arguments here. Here, formal arguments are represented as a parameter in a function definition, while comparing to the default arguments have pre-assigned values of a variables in a function. For example, we declare that we are defining a function that is greet. For that function, I am passing a parameter as name, comma, message is equal to hello. Here I am declaring the message a variable as the value is string hello here. Now I am going to print the message, comma, name here. The message will be displayed as hello and the name will be displayed as which we are getting input from the user here. The next thing, helps define flexible and reusable functions are used in the formal and default arguments. Then coming to the next, advantages in modular applications. What are the advantages are there in modular applications by using this formal and default arguments here? First one is simplifies function calls with a sensible defaults, because it defines that the function call is very simply and sensible to access the function and also the function variables. And next thing is enhance modularity and reduce code duplications. And we cannot use the code repeatedly to avoid that we can use reduces the code and reuse the code here. And next thing is support backward compatibility in evolving systems. So we can represent the function variables to support the system. Whenever we need, we can retrieve the functions from the backend. The next thing is improve readability and maintainability. Whenever we can analyze or to maintain the data in a function, we can easily read and maintain the data here. And next thing is enable clean and stable API design. For that, we can clearly understand that application programming interface designs are very clear in this, and also we can easily understand whether the customer can easily understand or not in this API model. Coming to the next thing is application is at Meta. While we are using Meta in WhatsApp, not only in the WhatsApp, we are using nowadays metadata here. First, we can see about Meta uses larger modular system with microservices. They are giving a small services to activate their data, and can use their data by using the codes here. And coming to the next thing, default arguments enable stable internal APIs here. So they provide a stable internal application programming interface services here. And next thing is simplifies configuration across machine learning and data pipelines. They provide the configuration across machine learning and data pipelines by using the users which their satisfactions. And next thing is helps integrate Python based tools like PyTorch, Smooth, etc. here, because they used a PyTorch to integrate the Python based techniques here. And next thing is one example, date and time example. This is very important in function that we are used default and formal parameters here. Here as an example, from date and time, import date and time. First we have to import date and time. For that we have to define a function name called log event. I'm passing a parameter as two parameters I'm passing here. One is event and another one is timestamp equal to none here. So I'm representing the value of a variable timestamp is equal to none. If timestamp is none, I'm checking the condition by using if statement. If the timestamp is none, because the timestamp value is 0, then the timestamp will be equal to date time dot utc now. That function is to be called here, and which time we are accessing here, that is to be represented here. And next thing, print timestamp event. So I am printing the timestamp. What are the timestamp available now I am using here, and what are the events are there I am used now. So that is to be printed here. So the points are demonstrate use of default argument for modular logging, because default arguments are nothing but event and timestamp here. Then useful for time-based data processing modules here. Coming to the next thing, the best practices are avoid mutable default arguments like list dictionaries. We can use this default arguments in tuples, uh, set, etc. here. Use none as default placeholder when needed. So we cannot represent that none whenever we need. We can represent the value of none, or else we cannot avoid the value of a none here. Then keep function signatures clean and concise. What are the functions we are used here? That is to be clear, because once we can access the function, we have to know about the functions and function members, function variables, etc. here. Then next thing is document default values. That is, default values are whenever we need, we can take the default values, or else we cannot declare the default values here. The next thing is use keyword arguments for clarity in large modules. So for this we have to represent the function names and also the keywords easily to identify for the large modules in a program. Finally, coming to the conclusion, default and formal arguments improve the flexibility and modularity in a program, and also we can easily maintain the data in meta, and whenever we need, we can use API designs in a backward, essential for modern Python development here. Thank you.